Welcome to my fourth Dallas Cowboys blog post. Looking at the playoffs here on January 15th, 2014, defenses are dominating. Although in the AFC, you have these great quarterbacks, they're also playing great defense. Denver was great in the AFC, getting into the AFC title game, and I'll be surprised if the NFC title, that said, with all the success that defenses have had, I'll be surprised if the NFC team can score enough to hang with the AFC team because of the quarterback differences. It wouldn't be a complete shock for the better defensive team to win, but I do think Brady and Manning are playing on a higher level than Collin Kapernack and Russel Wilson. They simply can score more touchdowns when it really counts, and they'll have to be able to score enough to win. This gives me hope that Tony ROmo and the Cowboys can turn it around and get back to contending. If the AFC can win the Super Bowl this year, it bodes better for older quarterbacks. Another Manning-Brady showdown in the AFC title game, that's the sort of sustained excellence that has eluded Dallas. I marvel how Baltimore can hang in there year after year without a marquee quarterback. That's a team with a great general manager. I wonder if Jason Garrett would have already won a Super Bowl if he had taken the job in Baltimore because of the better talent acquisition there. It's the eve of the Senior Bowl, so it's a good time to address coaching changes one last time. I hope the coaching staff remains intact. Dallas would only set itself further back by changing schemes again. We're obviously as low on D as you can go. Let's get some more talent in the system. I think Monte Kiffin will have a top 10 defense once again. It's tough to imagine a great defensive end being available at pick 16 or 17. It's also tough to imagine a great quarterback there, too. At pick 16, wouldn't it be awesome if there was a safety like Kenny Vacaro or Earl Thomas in the draft? Lately we've seen what a premier safety can do for you in gelling a defense. Dallas, as a middle pack pick, would ideally be able to get a great safety prospect this draft, but I don't know if there are any great safeties in this draft. A lot of the time, the first round is determined by measurable numbers, the stuff from the combine. Sometimes you can measure physical gifts that let you know players will dominate, like Mario Williams. So much comes down to the combine. That said, I always love reading news out of the Senior Bowl. Dallas usually leaks information like a sieve, including whole draft boards. Now, Jerry produces so much information that it really makes little use, but the wind blows quite clearly with Dallas in the first round year after year. Looking back, looking laterally, and seeing the success of J.J. Watt in Houston, his combine measurables predicted that. That said, he played 5-tech under Wade Phillips in Houston and had 21 sacks or so. For years in Dallas, Wade Phillips defended his low-output 5-tech, saying that the schemes dictate that players like Chris Canty will never put up big numbers. Well, this same Phillips went and had himself a player put up 20 sacks from the position schemed to do nothing. This franchise chronically excuses mediocre achievement and sweeps under the rug mediocre players, saying it's due to scheme design. We could have been looking for better 5-techs for our defense, but we never did look for better 5-techs. We were content with our mediocre 5-tech play. But there were players out there. Now, I realize J.J. Watt is impossible to come by, but there were guys playing in Arizona. There's other players that play 5-tech that do more. And we never sought out to improve the players that we had. We had very mediocre players at those spots. When players are doing well, they can usually exceed the bare minimum of the threshold of the scheme's design. So, if your defense is doing well and you have good defensive players, they can actually overachieve. And we never had that. And our general manager was very content with these average personnel. As old as many of Dallas's defensive linemen are, I don't think that Anthony Spencer, coming off injury, Jason Hatcher, productive for the first time in his career, are ready to move on. I don't think they'll get big money out on the market. Still, it seemed like the younger players were getting better and the older ones weren't by the end of the season. It seems like the defensive line in 2013 was actually the oldest part of the team to start the year. In hindsight, they were the oldest squad on the team: Spencer, Ware, Ratliff, and Hatcher. It could have been good. No wonder Dallas had so many injuries with so many older players. Incidentally, it was the two youngest players like Ben Bass and Tyrone Crawford whose absence came first. Again, we can draft 7 defenders and please a lot of people in this draft. I'm going to list positions where Dallas still needs players, in my view: defensive end, defensive tackle, linebacker, quarterback, safety. Who's the 4th defensive end right now, even on the roster as it stands? Ware, Selvey, Melvin Brown look like a return, but only Ware has ever really been elite. Defensive tackle, has only one player in the roster right now who finished the season, safety. We have needed a star forever. If we're just going to get an average player at safety or another competitor, then it's not something worth really drafting it very high. But if it's someone that could really change the dynamic of our backfield, we could really use a star. I wouldn't emphasize safety in the draft unless he looks like a star. Otherwise, J.J. Wilcox, Keith, and Matt Johnson can battle it out opposite Church. Quarterbacks. What's up with quarterback? Does that look settled to you? These guys drop too many picks for an effective zone, and the scheme seems to shy away from man. It's too bad these defenders are better at man. Man means your defenders win one-on-one matchups more. You can do that when you have 4 Pro Bowlers on defense or more. That's how Seattle and San Francisco do it. You'd think the 6th overall pick in a $50 million contract could get 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. So it is a shame that both our quarterbacks are not Pro Bowlers. I still think the most gushing breakdowns came when Dallas was repeatedly unsettled at middle linebacker. I think our top 4 linebackers are good, but who's backing up the outside the middle linebacker, and who is behind Bruce Carter and Kyle Wilber? I mean, obviously our linebackers rotated all year, so it looks like it's unit from MASH. We can definitely draft players there. On offense, I think we can draft a tackle to supplant Free if Parnell isn't up to the task on the right side. Our offense wasn't very good drive blocking, and Dallas could spend a pick on a guard high, like a second-round pick, someone that could really move big defenders out off the line of scrimmage. My dark horse draft pick is a high running back, though, to compound our running game with Murray and Dunbar. And so I'll leave you with that. Thanks.